Make sure to subscribe. Also, guys, make sure to head on over to our pinned post on Twitter so that way you can get access to our full Bitcoin giveaway contest. I'm not even sure we're supposed to say that word live. Yeah. May have to be careful with that. May need to come up with another word for it because, you know, there's a lot of bad folks out there using that word in ways they shouldn't be using it. But guys, today we're going to be talking about why, I don't know why people aren't talking, why more people are not talking about this. The most bullish thing I've seen yet this year for Bitcoin. I cannot wait to talk about it. This is something that when I saw this yesterday on Twitter and I went and read the article, I was like, oh, okay, it's time for a hyperdrive. It's time for a hyperdrive. Look at that. My account looks not sticking up too high today. That's good news. So we're going to be discussing that, guys. We're also going to be looking at the Cardano Dip and what do we do with this information. Dot, is this something we should be putting focus on? I'm going to be telling you guys something I did a little bit later with Polkadot. We got a big Polkadot video tonight. And then from now on, guys, Friday is Stonks Day. So today at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we have Justin from A Couple Cents Podcast, or A Couple Cents YouTube channel, excuse me, coming on to discuss stonks and how do you get started in a stonks journey. So, and I think from now on, I will only refer to them as stonks. I don't think I'll ever say the other word again. So guys, we got all that going on today. I'm in a big trade right now. As you guys can see right here, I'm up about 20K in the trade. It looks really good. Like, this looks really good when you look at it, as long as you don't look at this side of the screen over here. Just, oh man, we're killing it right now. Look at that. Look at that. The only YouTuber that shows when they lose $66,000 in a day. So we got absolutely wrecked yesterday, and I want to talk about that at the end of this video. I want to talk about how you, as a new person in cryptocurrency, in our Crypto 101 section, how to balance your emotions and patience. Because I still, even with as long as I've been in this, I still fall victim to it sometimes. Overconfidence. Can you believe someone just accused me of having overconfidence? I get a little overconfident. We turn 10K into 100K. I get a little looser with my trades. I start thinking I can't lose. And then you know what happens? I'll lose. So I debated even showing this today because I wanted to make all the money back first before I even showed it to you. But I was like, you know what? We keep it real on this channel. So it is what it is. We're also going to be talking about Phantom because, guys, Phantom is looking pretty nice right now. It has been on a big retrace. We're going to take a look at that. And then also, guys, first and foremost, 632,000 subscribers right now. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing to the channel. We are heading towards 1 million subscribers. We want to be the first YouTube channel ever in the world of cryptocurrency to get to 1 million subscribers. And when we do that, we are going to be giving away, as you guys can see here, 1 full Bitcoin, 5 Ethereum, 4,000 ADA. When I pass 1 million subscribers on YouTube, as a thank you to the BitSquad, we're awarding 10 subscribers, chance of a lifetime to win a full Bitcoin. I mean, 10 people aren't going to win a full Bitcoin. Now, maybe I could have worded that a little better, but 1 person and 10 winners total will win crypto. You guys can get to the contest from here. And also, guys, when you do go to the contest, we got 97,000 entries so far. I think every person can enter like 15 times, so it's a lot less people than that. But make sure, I did add this yesterday, guys, you're going to have to prove you're a subscriber to the channel. Through the contest, technically, we can't get you to subscribe, but this is for our community. So half of you guys who watch the show aren't subscribed. We look at the stats. So all you got, if just those people just hit the subscribe button right now, we'll get there and be able to give this away tomorrow. But it may be more fun to give it away when it's 6 figures, which I think it will be soon. Yeah, I'm going to do that later. Let me get rid of that there. And guys, somebody made this meme. I love it. I look at a lot of these memes people make about me, and the fact that I've become a meme, I think, is one of my favorite things. This is better than the walrus. BitBoy Crypto explaining Bitcoin's road to 500K in 2021. The long and the short of it is that you long the bull market and you short the bear market. And you know what? You can't get it any more accurate than that. That's the way it is. So let's go ahead. I thought that was pretty funny. That's obviously Charlie from It's Always Sunny. Let's go ahead and jump into the market right now. Let's see. Right now, 1.7 trillion. I keep looking at this to see if we've hit a new all-time high in market cap. I would have thought that we would have yesterday, right? Wouldn't you guys have thought that? Now, yesterday, Joe Biden did sign the stimulus package, which is pretty interesting. Why is this not moving? There we go. He did sign the stimulus package yesterday, and, you know, some pretty interesting stuff there. But, you know, you would have thought that the price would have risen, but it didn't actually. We still have not got above the all-time high of 1.765 trillion. We could be on the road to beating that right now as we speak. Ethereum continuing to drop now below 12%, 11.8% dominance, and Bitcoin 61.8%. We'll start taking a look here at what's going on in the markets themselves. Bitcoin coming in at 57,370, colossal dip yesterday, which we'll look at with the Bitcoin chart. Ethereum back under $1,800. Let's see, we're going to look at the E chart a little bit later, but where did it fall to? Let me check this out. Let me see where it fell to because I want to see how this lines up with, look at that support line we drew yesterday, 1730. Now, we drew this yesterday, and there was a lot of evidence to suggest that 1730 was, in fact, the support line. It did dip down below that about $12. So that line held pretty tough. I don't think we're going to see Ethereum go back down below that again.
Do you have your screen wider than normal?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, hold on.
There we go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh, well, thanks, TJ. And guys, big announcement about TJ. TJ the intern, we call him. Actually, we don't want to call him that. Guys, I need you guys in the comments. We have to give TJ a name, right? Because like people are saying Young Jamie, they're saying other people with nicknames, but
what's wrong with TJ?
Just TJ by itself isn't good.
Says who?
TJ the Lambo list. I thought that was a pretty good one I came up with. Or TJ the Dream Killer. That was another one I came up with. But what you guys name him in the chat. But he got it here, guys. TJ got big news. He's been riding my coattails for a while, and I love that about him. It's one of my favorite things he does. I'm just glad that I have coattails. But TJ actually got his first piece of fan art. First piece of fan art. You guys can actually buy this on Rarible.com.
Oh, that's on Rarible?
Yeah, it's on Rarible.
Oh my gosh.
People he wants a full Ethereum for this thing.
Oh
look at that. Now, I look kind of like a groundhog, but let's not focus on me right now.
I've never seen the full picture.
There it is. There's the full picture. And look, they got all our favorite coins right here. They got Chainlink, Polkadot, Bitcoin. You know what I thought, though? I really like how they put the yin and the yang here. Because it really is. We really balance each other out pretty well. So, TJ, big moment in TJ's life, guys. So, there it is.
TJ Maxx. That's not a bad one.
TJ Maxey. TJ Maxey might be good. All right, back to the charts. Let's go. We've got to come back over here, guys. Let's look at the biggest winners of the day. Scale Network. Now, and look, Paul got, we should have gotten that Matic. We didn't get more of that Matic. I'll tell you guys this. I actually had an opportunity to get into Matic about 2 months ago before the price started rising. Basically, somebody approached me and they said, listen, I got this over-the-counter deal for Matic. You get like a 20% discount. And he said, you need to know this thing is going to explode. And you're going to like really, it's going to be a good deal for you. I just didn't do it. Why? I don't even remember. Probably, once again, like we've been talking about a lot, just didn't have time to really explore it as much as I would have wanted to. And man, I am kicking myself on that because Matic absolutely pumped 50% yesterday. Not only did it get listed on Coinbase Pro the same day they listed on regular Coinbase and Scale Network, and also, what was the other one? And Sushi. Sushi got listed yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Sushi also got listed. Where's Sushi at on here? There it is. It only went up 5.78%. Sushi's one that a lot of people are just kind of frustrated with. It hasn't really been moving. But Chili's with another pump, 65%. I think Mr. Elron Schmeeds has got himself pretty firmly in that one, so he's doing pretty good.
Well, and it was a funny story. Him and I were talking yesterday about Matic, and it was you, Zombie, and I outside of Consensus 2019.
It was, yes.
And that's when we first were talking about Matic, and it had just gotten like to a penny and a half or something like that. And we were all freaking out. They're like, holy crap, this thing pumped from a penny
it came out of nowhere, too.
To like 3 or 4 cents.
Like Indian projects where it started.
Yeah, and Zombie was like, this Matic thing, I think I'm going to hold on to it. This one looks pretty good. This, I think this one has some long-term potential, and here we are. It's just pretty amazing.
Yeah, and he was talking about the technology of the plasma side chains and how that's going to be so big in the future for interoperability, and now it's coming to bear. And a lot of you guys really like Crypto Zombie coming on the channel.
Yeah.
And so I've asked him to come back. So hopefully he'll be back next week. We love Zombie. He's like, Zombie is probably, outside of the people that work in this office, he's probably my best friend in crypto. Like, I love Kyle. He's such a great guy. So can't wait to have him back on next week to talk about, maybe some trading stuff and some fundamental stuff. But a lot of people really liked him on here. He's got a lot to offer. You guys make sure to go subscribe to his channel. But he was one of the first ones to put us on Matic, and I wish I would have got in it a little bit more than I was. Engine also continuing to pump, up 23% again. up 60%. VeChain, I think VeChain hit a new all-time high, didn't it? I believe, is that correct? Yes, it sure did. Look at that. VeChain just hit a new all-time high, over 6.5 cents, almost 7 cents. We were covering it when it was down below a penny over the summer, telling you guys that this could be one of the biggest gainers of the whole bull run. And look at this. It is freaking taking off right now, going absolutely parabolic. And the last time it went parabolic, it had a real steep pullback, but it was very quick. So this right here is the kind of chart we want to see. So that's what's going on with the markets right now. Let's take a quick look here at Bitcoin. Now, if you do want to trade Bitcoin, obviously, and you want to use Market Cipher, which we use for Bitcoin, I got a big Market Cipher video for you guys tomorrow. Let me check real quick, see if I've got a message back from Crypto Face about. No, he's probably sleeping. You know, he doesn't go to sleep until. Does he sleep? I don't even know if he sleeps.
It's like he's on that Bozak sleep schedule.
He's on that Bozak sleep schedule, but supposedly starting tomorrow, our 10% Market Cipher code here on the website is going down to 5%. So this will be the last day of the 10% off. You want to show it, TJ? 10% off with the code BitSquad Special or BitSquad March Special. The last day, supposedly. I'm trying to talk him into letting me extend it until Monday because I've got a big video coming out tomorrow on Market Cipher, and then we're going to try to have Crypto Face on sometime next week. But right now, I'm in a massive trade. I'm up 21 grand right now, still down like 40K or so for the last day. So, but I was up 20K yesterday, so I'm really total down about 20K from yesterday. So, guys, we started this challenge, and I was real excited about it. And, I definitely thought things were about to pop off. It felt like we were really close to an all-time high yesterday, and then it just didn't happen. So I'm hoping we get there today. I'm hoping this thing continues to go up and we can get some of our losses back. But it is what it is, guys. You got to be able to take the losses. If you want the wins, you got to be able to take the losses. Overall, we know what happens. I think we are going to go above all-time highs today. A lot of people bearish. You know, if you were going over YouTube today, you would have seen a lot of people, the theme of the day is everything's bearish. I don't understand why. Now, I will say this. We do know futures contracts expire on Fridays. That's generally, when we see pretty big downswings. I should go ahead and set some take profit here, actually, I think, just to make sure that I don't end up getting wrecked here after all of these freaking nice gains here. So I'm going to put it there. Just put it there. Actually, I'm going to put it there. Just want to give it some room to run here.
What number?
57,300. I put some a floor in it. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to keep going up, but, it may not. But I definitely want to lock in some gains. When you take a big loss, like it's important, you always want to get your gains back immediately, but, that's just not always the way that it works out. So, of course, right after I do that, they're going to counter trade me right down to my take profit there. But whatever it is. Here's what I saw when I entered the trade that I'm in right now. I saw this green dot on Market Cipher. I have been waiting for this. Now, this is on the hourly chart. Now, obviously, we want these green dots right here, right? We want them on the very bottom. And earlier today, this momentum wave was actually down below the zero line. It was like right here, but then the price recovered a little bit, and now it ended up back above the zero line. So it wasn't the absolute biggest gain, but just a good time to get in, I think. Because a lot of people yesterday, I think a lot of people were thinking like I was yesterday. When you were looking, Mr. Elron Schmidt, when you were looking here in this range, right, and you were saying we were about to pop up to all-time highs, you had Carl on Twitter talking about we could be 70K by the time he wakes up, and then, other people on Twitter talking about the price going way up, and it was very exciting. Lark was talking about it. And we just got shoved down. We got rejected. And, I definitely didn't see this giant drop because everything was feeling so bullish. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what this last push means, because I think that's very crucial to understand where Bitcoin is right now. But I don't think it's a coincidence that yesterday the stimulus package got signed and the price dropped right after. It started falling pretty much right after that happened, within an hour or two. So I don't think that's a strong coincidence. I think there's something to that, which we'll talk about here, in a little bit. But what I would say is for Bitcoin right now, what I'm looking at it to get above this area. I mean, this is the resistance. So on Market Cipher, if you see these, the purple dots here, that is lines of resistance. So we know, well, that's not what I wanted actually. Hold on, wrong one. God, I swear I'm the worst with these lines. So right here at 52 and 58, 282, that's where we have a line of resistance. And so it's got to get above that line. It's going to take me an hour and a half to draw this line apparently, guys. But there it is. We're looking for that. So if Bitcoin gets up, hits that line and goes back down, we can expect another push down. If it gets above this line, now we're looking at a breakout. Someone said, quick recommendation on $1,400 stimulus on a Coinbase coin. Where do I gamble it? I mean, I think when it comes to Coinbase right now, looking at the options there, I mean, there's a lot of good projects, but I mean, I'm still saying Ethereum just hasn't popped yet. Like, it still hasn't popped. Like, I think right there, Ethereum is going to be your best bang for your buck. And one day it is going to pop. And it's going to go up massive. And everybody's going to be like, oh, you know, you were late on it, but you were right. And I know it's going to happen. So, you know, that's what I would look at. And I had a very interesting call with Justin from a Couple Cents podcast. It's not a podcast, Couple Cents YouTube channel. Let me pull up his channel here real quick so you guys can see it. I like this guy. He's big into stocks. You know, he knows a lot about the traditional world. He's got 66.4K subscribers, just started his channel this year, so he definitely knows what he's talking about. He's also heavily into crypto, so he actually understands it, you know, understands the relationship between stocks and crypto and all that stuff. You know, and he's always on whatever the latest cutting edge thing is. If you see on this video, he did one on Roblox going public, which is pretty cool. But the thing is that he says something very interesting on this video you're going to see at 2 o'clock today, where he basically says, like, Bitcoin and Ethereum, these are the coins the big money's looking at. They're not looking beneath that. So why would you want to get out of Ethereum? I don't understand it. It's all a facade right now, what's going on. The price should be valued much higher than it is. And I think that, you know, we definitely are going to see that. So on Coinbase, I would go into Ethereum right now, you know. Now, on some other stuff, I think Polkadot's looking pretty sexy. Polkadot's looking pretty sexy right now. So, but it's not on Coinbase.
And the graph on Coinbase is a little bit of a deeper pick, probably not bad. It's pumped a lot lately, but it's a solid project.
It's our fourth biggest holding.
Yeah, we like the graph.
We love the graph. We think the graph is great. So the graph is a lower cap one on Coinbase that we do like a lot. And we expect big things from. Still Aave. I mean, I think Aave still has a lot of room to run. Yep. If you want, and obviously Matic. I mean, you don't want to buy it right now after it's just pumped so huge on Coinbase, but we're going to do a layer 2. We got big videos for next week. We're going to cover Polkadot IDOs in one video. We're going to cover ETH 2.0 and the upgrade next week in a video. We're also going to be covering Ethereum layer 2 solutions and why those are so important to the future of Ethereum. And Matic is probably the very, very, very most important one. Because if Ethereum can't compete with Polkadot, it's going to get crushed. Same thing for Cardano. They're going to have to, you know, probably make some changes to make sure they're going to be able to compete with Polkadot. So the more I'm digging into that, the juicier that one's looking. We'll be covering that tonight at 6. So let's go to 1K, 10K update. So right now, we still are in our Bybit trade. We're trying to turn 10K into $1 million. We already hit 100,000. We're below it right now, but that's just the way trading goes. You win, you lose. But we want to go back and put a bigger focus on our 1K to 10K challenge, and this is just done through swing trading. In the 1K to 10K challenge yesterday, we basically sold off everything that we had, and we're just kind of starting over because we want to just what we were doing. We started at the worst possible time. We started at pretty much like the peak of the altcoin rally, and then everything started falling.
Well, and the peak of the gas fees.
The peak of the gas fees. We've been crushed by gas fees. Even in making this trade, you know, sending our Nord Finance over to Ethereum, then sending it over to KuCoin, we got absolutely crushed in. So what we're trying to do now is we're trying to probably use a little bit different of a strategy, not use anything that involves gas fees, and look for projects that are down, that have done really well. So we've actually traded everything over to Phantom right now. And so you can get to this on bitboycrypto.com/challenge. We moved everything over to Phantom. And I think Phantom is a project that we saw for a long time was very underrated. And now it's getting a little more into the DeFi world. And there's a lot of stuff simmering under the surface with this project. But most importantly, it's had a large pullback. If you look at Phantom over the last couple of days, you could have seen just over the last 24 hours, I had a 12% pullback. I think that's on purpose right now. I think it's being pushed down in order to get more accumulation. I mean, look at this. It looks like, obviously it just had an all-time high recently. And, you can see it's had several different times where it's tried to come back up, and it just hasn't quite done it. And right now with this latest dip here, I feel like this could be the perfect time for Phantom to really go on a run. So what are people so excited about? Why is this such a big project? Well, Phantom's United Nations presentation could trigger a massive bull run for the FTM price. Phantom Foundation is set to present its blockchain to the United Nations Central Bank Digital Currency Architecture Group on March 11th. The event showcases Phantom and other blockchains that could be used to build government-backed CBDCs. So playing a huge role in money, right? We like that. If selected, FTM could gain mainstream recognition for its iterable ABFT, that's a Byzantine fault tolerance, blockchain pushing its price higher. Phantom Foundation's presentation in the Digital Currency Global Initiative by the United Nations could be the start of something big. We do know the rise for CBDCs is going to be big. I think, it's my opinion that probably whatever becomes a reserve currency is going to be a CBDC. Or at least a stable coin. Now, it could be something pegged to the price of Bitcoin or something like that. But Phantom has a lot of unique things that people like about it. Obviously, the United Nations is interested in hearing more, and that should really tell you every single thing you need to know right there. If the United Nations is asking them to come speak about what they're doing, that should be your clue that something big is probably coming. So take that for what it's worth, but that's what we're doing with the challenge. We've decided to really kind of switch it up. And I want to be clear about something. Like, when we're doing this challenge for the channel, number one, you're not supposed to be copying every single thing that we do, right? That's not the goal. The goal is for us to show you mindset, show you things that we're doing, understand why we're making the picks, and then you can take that and do your own research with it, right? But in addition to that, just because we sell something in the short term for the challenge doesn't mean that we're not still all in on these other projects. We haven't sold any Frontier. People are saying, like, Frontier's been dipping. I think people saw that we sold it on our little bitty, tiny, teensy-weensy challenge bag, and they're like, oh, he's bearish on Frontier. No, Frontier's a longer-term play. APY Finance are longer-term plays. We still have plenty of that, and we're not selling it at all right now. These projects will have their heyday. This mindset, they're like, if we sell something for the challenge, like, you should go jump out of it, or it's not a good thing, like, we're just trying to show you things on the channel. Like, you guys take some of this stuff like a little too serious.
Well, right on cue, everyone's asking where to buy Phantom.
KuCoin. That's what we're doing a lot of our trading on KuCoin right now for the challenge because it's just easier there. So, and but a lot of people had begged us to do a Voyager review, and I did it, and they're mad at me about it apparently. So I do want to officially say from this point forward, we're never going to talk about Voyager on this channel again. So. Good job. That's it. We don't use Voyager really. We think there's a lot of stuff to like about it. But you know what? You guys can't. Do you want to put your thoughts out, or do you want me to put my thoughts out? Yeah. If you want your thoughts, then why don't you start your own channel? Yeah. And then try to get on my level, and then try to push out your message. We've worked hard to get where we're at, and I think my opinions are valid on stuff. So if I have opinions on things and I say it's not what we really use, like we prefer Coinbase. It just is what it is. Yeah. So good job. We took it off the website. We're never talking about them again. So you can forget about it.
We were a little too honest for their liking.
Yeah. We're doing, guys. Voyager token is not the next Bitcoin. Period. So get that out of your mind. You guys can leave the chat, unsubscribe for the channel. I don't care. So you're only going to get unfiltered honesty on this channel. So if you don't like that, if you want me to coddle you, then if you want to be coddled like little babies. And you want to tell me what to think, then you need to go somewhere else. So, all right. So next thing, why I'm bullish. Let's talk about this because this is something to me that is so bullish. It's insane. It's just taken what we've experienced in the last year, and it's taken it up 20 notches. Okay. Let's start with who Christine Lagarde is. So she was in charge of the IMF, but now she's the European Central Bank president, right? Which, when you hear stuff like this, TJ, aren't they like all the same position?
They're rolling them up and they're centralizing it.
Yeah, they're centralizing it. So a centralized central bank. I love that. Christine Lagarde says this was kind of a negative thing that she said yesterday about Bitcoin. It's very unlikely. This is Jamie Dimon saying Bitcoin's rat poison, right? Or Bill Gates saying it's going to short Bitcoin. It's very unlikely that central banks will hold Bitcoin in the near future. You're going to have to, or you're going to die. Like, that's what it boils down to. Your bank is going to die if you can't get with the new Financial Times.
Yeah, that usually means they're accumulating like crazy right now.
Absolutely. These people are such crooks, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Christine Lagarde. I can't stand this lady. But, hey, she's great for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing is, like, a lot of these people that we really don't like, they're so great for Bitcoin. Like, the money printing, terrible for America. Great for Bitcoin. So, you know, you got to pick and choose. At least I got a dog in the fight on both sides of that. But anyway, she said, I would say it's out of the question. It's out of the question that they will ever do this. But here's a really interesting thing. This is why I'm more bullish than ever. European central bank signals faster money printing to keep lid on yields. The European Central Bank said on Thursday it would accelerate money printing to keep a lid on Eurozone borrowing costs, signaling to skeptical, or is that skeptical? Did they spell that wrong? Is it skeptic with a K?
Maybe they spell it different in the UK.
Oh, is it gray or is it gray? I don't know. That is determined to lay the foundation for solid economic recovery. Remember, accelerate money printing, get out of debt. Makes total sense. How stupid are these people? I cannot wrap my mind around it. And you know what's so funny? Is the average person, like the average person, anybody out there, you go pick any one of your friends. They may even be dumb. It may be one of the dumbest people you know. The average, that's probably harsh, but I'm sure there are dumb people out there, right?
I'm sure there are.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. The fact is, the average person understands this doesn't work. This isn't like controlling the masses and like everybody's walking around like sheeple, like, oh yeah, printing money is good. Nobody thinks that. How can they say this with a straight face? It's insane. Or at least in her case, right here, with this face. Okay, it's an awkward pose they got her in. Okay, she doesn't really look like that. No, well, she kind of does. But the point is, concerned that a rise in bond yields could derail a recovery across the 19 countries that share the euro, the ECB said it would use its $1.85 trillion pandemic emergency purchase program more generously over the coming months to stop any unwarranted rise in debt financing costs. Here's what they're telling you, okay? They're telling you, we are committed to printing more money. It defies logic. We have America's already been doing this. Now, the European Central Bank is saying, let's ramp it up. What do you think is going to happen to Bitcoin? What do you think is going to happen? You think it's going to go down from here? Not a chance. Now, look, we may have dips. We'll still have dips, of course. And we'll talk about that here in just a second, what I think we just saw, pretty much over the last 24 hours. But the fact is, you can't just keep doing this. And the more that across the world people are printing money, the more value Bitcoin is going to have. If you look at the M1 money supply, I love looking at this.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
By the way, someone in the chat said she looks like a Dr. Seuss character.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say it. Okay, I don't want to make fun of somebody's looks, but, I guess I make fun of the angry nerds a lot. But look at this, guys. Like, when you really zoom in on this M1 money supply, this is actually, they discontinued it. Do you remember why they discontinued it? Mm-mm. They actually did. We are now on to, by the way, M2 money supply, I believe, which I don't really know what the difference is. Do you know? Have you heard of that?
No.
M2 money stock. This is the M2. Yeah, they discontinued the M1. Maybe someone can get some more. Let's look that up after we get off stream. But the point is, when you look at the M1 money supply that was just discontinued, and then what we're doing right now, look, guys, throughout the history of this, since November 3rd, 1980, we've never had a move this quick and this fierce. And here's what's really, really, really concerning about the money supply.
So they just split it up. The M2 includes the M1.
Okay, so yeah, it's like an abridged version, if you will.
Right. The M1 is supposed to be the most liquid stuff, so it's just checks.
Yeah.
Whatever. Cash checks, traveler's checks, whatever.
But why do you think they rolled it all in together?
To make it look better.
To make it look better.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Because if you look at the M1 money supply compared to this one is not quite as parabolic once it hits this level. Whereas the M1 money supply is just, it's like, nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here.
Well,
nothing to see here.
what the M1 shows is everybody bailing out of these less secure assets or less liquid assets, trying to get into cash so they can move and prevent, getting eroded away by inflation.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is to look at here is not only do you have this one parabolic move, obviously, that was over the stimulus printing last year, the stimulus money printing from this year isn't even included in this yet. Think about that. Think about that. Then think about the fact that even all this notwithstanding, even when they weren't printing money out of control for stimulus, look at the rapid rise of increase compared to this more stair-step, bottom left to top right. Like this up here is a peak. This is going to keep going. Eventually, guys, let's use logic and common sense here. Eventually, they will not be able to print enough money to match the demand. That makes sense, right? Supply and demand. Eventually, if we had to print $7 quadrillion a week to keep up with the demand, it's not possible. We're going to hit a break-even point. That's what happened with the Greeks and the Romans when they hit the stage in their civilization. It's very sad. I mean, I don't Bitcoin is our only hope in this. But of course, what do the governments do? They don't want you in Bitcoin. That they want to keep their Ponzi scheme going, and we just allow it. But people are getting fed up and they're understanding. And the really powerful thing at this point is, like I said earlier, the average person now gets this. The average person out there knows this doesn't work. They cannot keep this facade up much longer. So we recently had, now we do have an interview today I'm doing with Michael Saylor, which is pretty exciting. Did we get any questions for that, TJ, from the audience?
Yeah, we have some. I started writing them down on the
Yeah, let's write those down. But we want to ask unique questions. We don't want to ask the same questions everybody asks. But MicroStrategy spent $15 million, new to the next thing. MicroStrategy spent $15 million to buy another 262 Bitcoin. That's like a baby Bitcoin purchase, isn't it?
15.
What's that like?
Yeah, for them.
13 milli? Is that what it is?
Well, it says 15 million.
Oh, 15 million is what it says?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm counting it at 50,000. Yeah. It's so funny how the number you just kind of average Bitcoin at, it just changes so much. Like, I'm so used to averaging it at 50,000. For a while it was 30, Remember when it was 6? Gosh, I wish I had more Bitcoin. Remember when it was 6,000? My gosh. But here's the point, guys. What we saw, and this just happened, is MicroStrategy just bought more Bitcoin. What I believe we're seeing right now is the last push down before we finally get above 60,000, get above 70,000, and head towards $80,000. If you look back at the history of Bitcoin over this year, you will see many different price points where it just seemed to hover there for a long time and it had a hard time getting over. And what you'll find is that each one of these price points, since I guess probably about November, God, this chart's so crazy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Is November. What you'll see is a lot of these times where it kind of went sideways for a little bit, that's when MicroStrategy and Grayscale were buying. Now, were they keeping it sideways? We know there's definitely some manipulation. I'm not going to say it's MicroStrategy by any stretch of the imagination. I don't really include them that much in that. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I got Michael Saylor on today and I want to be nice to him. So I'm just kidding. I don't look at MicroStrategy the same, or Tesla, for instance, the same way I look at Grayscale. I think Grayscale is clearly manipulating stuff. I don't know necessarily if a lot of these other, large companies. I mean, MicroStrategy has the second most Bitcoin in the world. Did you know that, TJ?
I didn't. That's interesting.
Yeah, MicroStrategy number 2. Number 1 is Grayscale. Number 2 is MicroStrategy. And number 3 is Tesla, actually. Now, these are companies, corporate Bitcoin.
Right. Well, and that's my favorite fun fact about MicroStrategy. When you say they have the most Bitcoin in the world, 35% of MicroStrategy is owned by Vanguard, BlackRock, and Morgan Stanley. So the biggest investment funds in the world. So my big thing is this is the fastest way, the most efficient way those investment firms could get the most exposure to Bitcoin the fastest without getting in regulatory trouble.
Yeah. So why is this the last push? Why did I think the last night was one of the last pushes down we're going to see? Well, obviously today futures expire. So we know whenever futures expire, there usually is a pretty big push down. But what's interesting is by the time they close today, because they close at the end of the day on Fridays, I mean, we're already right back where we were yesterday. I mean, look, if you're pulling up the chart, we're already right here. We're already back to where we were yesterday. So it wasn't that effective.
Well, unless they're the ones who, like, they push it down and those buys are what make it bounce right back up.
Possibly. Yeah, it could be. I'll be honest with you guys. I've never bought futures exactly. I'm considering, because you guys know you can trade futures on Bybit now. If you guys want to sign up for Bybit, make sure to head on over to bitboycrypto.com/deals. But they have, futures contracts now available. If you go to the top here, so this might be something we start trading a little bit just to show you guys. Come down here, inverse futures right here, Bitcoin, and we looked at it a little bit yesterday, how it's at like 62,000 for the next quarter. I mean, we certainly think that we'll see that.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting to look at just for data points.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And can we pick our order price? Like, I'm not sure how this works. I've never bought these before. So that's cross margin. Don't use cross margin. Always use isolated margin, I think. But I don't know how the futures trade. I mean, we're just going to have to try it. We're just going to have to test it out and see what it looks like. So pretty interesting stuff. But the point here is I want you guys to really think about this. I want you to really process this, where we're at right now. The stimulus bill was signed yesterday. They've been working. It was supposed to be signed today. It got signed a day early. So that's something to think about. This is the last time. This is the last weekend that we will see before stimulus money starts coming into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano at crazy rates. This is it. It's the last time. If we go back and look at the Bitcoin chart from, what happened last time in April, we've looked at this a good bit here. In April, when all of the stimulus money got printed, let me remove my drawings here. When you look, it's hard to really comprehend it. Let's actually get rid of market server here. It's hard to comprehend, but if you go back to April when the stuff was printed, April, I think it was about April 14th or 15th, 10th, whatever. Well, I think it was the 12th, actually. But, I mean, look, guys. Look what we got here, okay? 817% gains. That's the last time that stimulus money came into Bitcoin, okay? We're seeing a final push. We're seeing people try to get in at price points. And who knows how long this is going to last? Who knows how much money is truly going to come flowing into Bitcoin? But process this. Look at the overall market cap for Bitcoin. Okay, let me go to the Bitcoin page actually here. Overall market cap for crypto. I mean, if we look at the overall market cap of crypto, $1.7 trillion. If we look at the overall market cap for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, because you got to remember, guys, DOT, you can buy it on crypto.com, but I don't think everybody in the United States can buy it on crypto.com. I can't remember if it's on their exchange or if you can swap it in their asset exchange in the crypto.com app itself, not using the exchange. If you have the app, that'll make sense. But Cardano and Ethereum are the easiest coins for Americans to buy. This is not a European stimulus. This is not an African stimulus. It's not an Asian stimulus. It's a U.S. stimulus, $1.9 trillion, okay? So when you look at the market caps of Cardano and Ethereum, that's about $238 billion. And then you look at, basically it shapes out to almost exactly $1.3 billion in market cap between those three projects, or trillion, excuse me, $1.3 trillion for those three market caps alone. That's pretty crazy when you consider the whole market cap's 1.7. But the point is, 1.3 trillion. There's more money about to be handed out to people in the United States than those market caps combined. If only a fraction of that money comes into these three projects, I mean, just think about it. Just think about what, $100 billion could do, Think about what $100 billion could do for Ethereum or, Cardano, obviously. So in my opinion, what we've just seen is this last push down, that a big wick all the way down to 54, right? A huge wick we saw today. And I think that we could be priming up for either this weekend. Now, weekends are always unpredictable. Keep that in mind. But starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think we are going to get a point to where we are going to see things absolutely moon out of control. So talking about stuff mooning out of control, let me keep an eye on my little trade here. Make sure I didn't get wicked out yet. But we have this story right here, which if you want to buy TJ on Rarible, by the way. A lot of Cougars really interested in TJ. Got a lot of Cougars asking questions about TJ. TJ, do you want to share what happened today at the bank? Just share it. It's okay. I mean, you can share it.
Somebody just randomly at the bank today. No context, no conversation at all. I was in the middle of dealing with
Tell us what he said, TJ.
She.
Oh, it's a she.
Yeah, she just said, "You're very handsome," and then just kept on walking. And I was like, "Well, thanks." Somebody this morning told me I look like an alien.
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 It's an alien. I'm not saying he looks like an alien, but you told her that? You told her that somebody...
I said that, yeah. I was like, just this morning.
Did she laugh?
Yeah.
Oh, now she thinks you're funny and cute.
Yeah.
I get that all the time.
I think she just likes that I'm coming in there doing wires all the time.
Oh, she sees the amounts, don't she?
I mean, I don't know. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's a pretty good guess. I don't know why she likes you, TJ. Wait till she gets a load of me. Okay, all right. So, guys, speaking of mooning out of control and NFTs, that's an NFT. You guys can find that on Rarible.com, by the way. If you just search BitBoy Crypto, maybe it'll come up. I don't have the link here, but you guys can see it. You can search. If you want to buy it, it's an Ethereum. We didn't make it. Somebody else made it. Another artist made it. He sent it to me on Twitter. But I thought TJ's first piece of fan art. I like that.
Somebody in the chat said drinking game to drink every time TJ cringe laughs. That's a lot.
What?
Nothing.
I don't get it. I don't get it. You like laughing at somebody in the chat?
No.
Laughing at me? A cringe laugh?
Yeah, exactly what just happened.
Guys, Beeple, which is Steven's favorite artist. Yeah, Steven around here.
For a long time.
I didn't even know this guy was an artist for a long time. What is an NFT, and how did an artist called Beeple sell one for 69 mil? Are they trolling him with 69 milli? Is that 34 plus 35? I think it is. At Christie's auction house. You can thank the Bitcoin craze for turning every day's, the first 5,000 days, into the third largest payday for a living artist in history.
Wow, that's cool.
That's pretty crazy, isn't it? I wonder who the top two are. Banksy, right? It's got to be one. He's in South Carolina.
I didn't know that.
Let's get him to come hang out.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That's pretty cool. Beeple, are you watching? Come on over here to Georgia. We'd love to get you in the studio one day. It was sold for $69.3 million. And here's something that's pretty interesting. Did you guys know that Justin Sun almost won it? So Justin Sun narrowly missed out on Beeple's record-breaking NFT sale.
Oh, he loves some NFTs, Justin Sun.
Does he really?
I mean,
do you think he was ready to be? I mean, what do y'all think about this?
Wow, that's interesting. That's a heck of an NFT.
Is this the guy that makes is Beeple the one that makes those like that big like Donald Trump walking looking like Godzilla thing?
Yeah, he makes he makes a lot of political stuff, yeah.
God, those are pretty neat. I mean, I'm not saying I support politically one way or the other, but I'm just saying like you look at those and I mean they look monstrous like this. I mean, it's weird stuff. But Justin Sun tried to outbid him. And he in the last 20 seconds, is this where it says it? Sun's final bid, at least, the final bid received by Christie's was just $250K short of the winning bid. My final effective bid was 60 mil, plus a fee was 69 mil. You think them Bybit fees is bad?
Jeez.
Get that $9 million auction fee from Christie's? Who is Christie? Why does Christie think she can just walk around selling all these 69s everywhere? It's crazy. However, he was outbid by another buyer in the last 20 seconds by $250K. I like how he said he really felt like he got dug out here because he said, guys, it was only 0.3%. He's kind of throwing shade at the other guy. But why would you want to outbid by a lot? You know, wouldn't you like to just do it a little bit? And I think a conversation that we can have is we actually had this conversation the other day. And is there a picture of Beeple in here anywhere? There's not. I know what he looks like, but
just a regular looking dude.
He's just a regular looking guy. He looks like he's from South Carolina. Yeah. You know, seriously. We love people from South Carolina. They're great. But the point is, there's some really interesting conversations we're having in the office about NFTs. We're about to be making huge pushes on those. We're wrapping up our wax artwork right now for our deck builder game. So we've been a little quiet on the NFT front lately. We were at one time the #1 selling artist on Rarible. For a good bit, for about a month or two. And, you know, the thing about it is these conversations we're having in the office are surrounding, like, so many people are saying things like, oh, you know, the art business is so small in reality, like, everything's getting overblown and blah, blah, blah. But this is what I said, okay? The world of art is, well, kind of there is a Ponzi tax shelter part of it. That's why a lot of these that's why banana sells for millions of dollars. You really dig into what goes on there, you can figure out how you can use art to hide all your taxes, but that's a different story, okay? The world of art is a high upper echelon game, okay? Who do you know that owns a painting from an artist that's not like some random, frame from Target? You know what I mean? You might know some people. If I want to go to an art gallery, we're north of the city. We're in Metro Atlanta. We're not directly in the city. I wouldn't even know where to go to an art gallery. Okay. Now, if I'm in downtown Atlanta, I could probably find one. I know the High Museum of Art. I think they got some for sale. Maybe they may not even. Shows you how disconnected I am. You're probably like that too. I don't know how many like super artsy people we appeal to here, but it's like a different crust of society in general, right? But if you live in the city, if you live in New York City, there are art galleries probably everywhere, right? But with NFTs and digital art, we're not looking at the same playing field, okay? We're looking at being able to, here's a great one. You guys ready for this, right? With crypto, what are we trying to do, right? A big part of it is we're trying to bank the unbanked. With NFTs, you can art the unarted. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good, I'm just saying. The point is when you look at the overall amount of people in the world that are not banked, if you just bring those people into the world of the digital economy, think about how much you've just grown the economy. In art, it's the same way. I don't know how to go to an art gallery, but I can go buy an NFT, and I'd be interested in it, right? And so you're able to bring people into this world that aren't in it, and that's why these are going so much. I think people are seeing this. And I think NFTs and collections and stickers and different stuff you're going to be putting together, in my opinion, it could be like the next tattoos. These are going to be the way that people express themselves digitally and virtually. And, this is how they're going to be able to, show themselves to be unique. So definitely some really interesting stuff going on there. And also, guys, as always, make sure to follow us on Twitter in general, where you can find a lot of stuff that we're talking about, a lot of clips from the show. Here, Bears go to sleep. We took the Bears to Pound Town this morning. So there it is. That's Pound. That's Pound Town in Virginia. So that's where the Bears went. Very interesting shape of that. So anyways, come over here. Keanu explained what it means. You move to the next thing.
Yeah.
What it means to merge two Ethereum projects. Now, here's what I think. I've said this for a long time. I believe and have believed that the future of crypto is one of merging. Okay. When you look at CoinMarketCap, for instance, okay, and you look at the total number of coins, man, I was off yesterday. Somebody asked me how many coins there were. I said 8,500. He's like, what are 100, 200 coins? I said, no, it's 8,500. It's 8,794, and that's just what's listed on CoinMarketCap. There's actually probably closer to 50,000 coins out there in general. But what are we going to see? There's basically two different opinions people have, okay? There's one opinion that eventually, and this is the one I kind of lean more towards, is we're going to have a totally tokenized digital economy, where having your own cryptocurrency as a company is akin to having your own website, right? Everybody's got their own website. But if you were to have gone back to 1993, even Coke didn't have its own website. A lot of companies didn't have. It was really hard to find a website designer. And nobody could have imagined that down the road, literally the only way your business would survive would be to have a website, right? Like we see companies like GameStop that are going out of business, all Wall Street bet stuff aside, they're going out of business in the brick and mortar. They're pushing people out of their store. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I went in to buy video games. They're like, we don't even really keep video games in the store anymore. They had two drawers of games for the entire store. They're trying to push themselves out of brick and mortar to go all digital. So if you would have told people in the early 90s that you were going to have a website or you were not going to be able to survive, everybody would be like, you're crazy. But now we see it's reality. We had a dot-com boom, dot-com boom bubble in the middle. But I think, we could see something similar with cryptocurrency, where having your own crypto is like having your own gift card for your store. It's a way to make your store its own little microeconomy. And then, of course, kind of the way we see with staking, right? When you pull stuff out of the supply, it becomes more valuable. So if you can keep more money inside the economy of your store, your virtual presence, then you can do better. You can have more value. But there's another one that says, there's another idea of cryptocurrency that says basically we're going to go through the dot-com boom and bubble. And more the bubble and the pop is what's going to happen is one day we're going to wake up and there's only going to be 200 crypto projects. And I think it's kind of something in the middle most likely. Because I've always said that when you have a lot of this new technology that's great ideas, maybe a little ahead of its time, what we're going to start seeing is some of these bigger projects merging, absorbing some of these smaller ones and bringing that technology into their ecosystem. Because imagine if like Ethereum, and Ethereum isn't a company. Like let's say the Ethereum Foundation owned Matic, okay? Now it's decentralized, so it gets a little murky here, okay? But imagine if Ethereum owned all the layer 2 solutions and they were just part of Ethereum. That would make more sense. It would be better for them. They could have more control. Now, once again, decentralization is about lack of control, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. It would be more powerful and they could be able to connect it easier. Well, now what we're starting to see is this come to life. In the traditional business world, corporate mergers often create behemoths that come to dominate markets and on occasion drive political leaders to break even again.
Break them up.
Yeah, break them up again. This is a story of a merger in the making, but in the decentralized world of blockchain-based projects. It's so hard to talk about a merger with decentralization, isn't it?
Yep.
Doesn't really make sense. It might help to set aside all prior assumptions about what a merger means. Two encryption projects, Keep and NuCypher, we love NuCypher, both running on the Ethereum blockchain, have begun discussing what they are calling a hard merge. Codename, Keanu.
That's cool.
You like that?
I mean, it's a great name.
Everybody loves Keanu, right?
Yeah, I don't know how he just became like the resident cool guy forever.
He is. You know what's so funny is I remember when he was like on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and stuff, he was such a terrible actor. Like, He's so bad. Yeah. Point Break, those are terrible movies. Parenthood, I think, was another one.
I like Point Break, but he wasn't a great actor.
No, he's so bad. And you know, when he took the role in The Matrix, or for The Matrix as Neo, he actually like took hardcore acting classes for like a year. Like, here he is as a professional actor. He's taking acting classes. And he's become one of the best actors out there. And everybody loves him. And he's supposedly a really great guy, too. And, you know, that matters. How somebody is on the outside. I hope nobody ever meets me and they're like, oh, he was a douche. You know? And apparently everybody meets Keanu and says he's great, including the two women that stalked him and hid in his bedroom 2 years ago. So, that's a true story. You guys can look that up. I don't think I have anything to worry about there. I don't think any ladies are going to be stalking my bedroom. But crucially, this would be a merger of their protocols, functions, and communities, not of their companies. So they're going to be sharing technology. And like I said, this brings up the problems of trying to merge decentralized projects and technologies because of governance. And nobody's really in control of them, but yet people are getting control of them. And decentralization, it does exist, but it doesn't exist fully. So it's kind of complicated. But I think that this is something that we're going to see. And I do remember this story as well. This is not the first time we've seen this. We also saw Andre Cronje's robo-advisor for Yield, that is the behemoth Yearn Finance, announced a merger or a partnership every month or so, but we haven't actually seen, I guess, the end results of these mergers yet. So we're entering into this new world of crypto where technology is going to be shared and merged, and I kind of think that down the road, I think we're going to go through the same thing like the dot-com bubble. And what I mean is, it's going to be a combination of both of these ideals. Eventually, 30, 40 years from now, every company will have its own cryptocurrency. I believe everything will be fully tokenized 30 to 40 years, right? Gift cards are cryptocurrencies. That's just the way it's going to be. But we are going to go through a time, I think at some point, where we do get a big pullback in the number of projects and things like that. And so I kind of think of a combination of those, but this is very interesting to watch because what's going on right now could foretell the future in crypto. We're going to see a lot of the bigger projects, I think, absorbing smaller projects, and then some of the smaller ones merging together to kind of fight for scraps and get up to the top. I think that's what we're going to see. What do you think, TJ?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. You're talking 30, 40 years, you said?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's way too long. Maybe 20 years.
Well,
I was just projecting way in the future.
Yeah, long term. Yeah, I could see, a multi-coin economy where Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know. I'd have to think about that a little bit more.
It is. I think it is a very interesting conversation. Just looking at our trade here, checking that out. Still doing pretty good. So let's look at the Ethereum chart, guys. I know a lot of people want to check that. We already looked earlier at where the support was with Ethereum. Let's kind of see what we can see with Market Cipher in the short term here. What is this? This is the daily chart. Still, the reason why we had drawn that line was based upon the body of this candle where we got our green dot. So right now, ever since we got that, we've basically been sideways. And so I don't think we're going down. I think we're going up. And if you look back at the last big dip for Ethereum, we haven't seen anything like we just saw, honestly. That's so interesting, isn't it? That was the biggest dip we've had in Ethereum in a long time in the last week of February, right after my prediction. We didn't get there. So it's kind of hard to really figure out, how high it's going to go from here. But if we were to go back to our last green dot that we had, GameStop, Philip Medina says, thank you for the super chat, GameStop signed a partnership with Microsoft. Will be a PC store soon enough, maybe a digital wallet store. Isn't there a digital wallet store somewhere in San Francisco?
They're talking about making like blockchain, like an Apple store for crypto products, more or less. Which I could see a lot of those kind of, GameStop locations getting turned into something like that.
I just don't know how much longer brick and mortar stores are even going to exist. Like, you got all this office space out there, right? I think a lot of the office space is going to end up turning into like community workplaces and stuff like that. I mean, I think the number of actual like infrastructure stores are going to go down dramatically. They're going to turn into warehouses. Probably.
Yeah, I agree. All that takes time, though. Basically, you need to phase out the older generation for that stuff to happen. So.
Yeah, what do we have to do to get rid of those oldies?
Give it time. Give it time.
Give it time. I want to show you guys something pretty interesting here that I just saw. This is the daily chart. That's Bitcoin. Come here to Ethereum. Okay, so I want to show you guys something I just kind of found. When we got our green dot here at the top on Market Cipher for Ethereum, okay, you guys see we had 5 candles there of basically sideways action. This is what happened the last time. The last time that we got a green dot, that would have been back in April. Okay, stretch that out. And basically look what we had. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles basically of sideways action. And then look, boom. So is that something we're going to see? If that's something we're going to see here in the short term, let's see how much it grew from there. Let's check out, for that month here. Let's just go to the peak before it had a blood diamond there. It would have made a run of 33%. What would that be? What is 33% from right now? Let's see what that would be. 33%. I love when I have to close the chart down a little bit. That would put it at, look at that, $2,300.66. So could we see that? Let's see, how long did it take to get there? Let's measure it that way. From right here, it took 9 days. 9 days. So what's today's date? The 12th? Mm-hmm. So that would be by March 21st. If we saw the same thing, that's what we could be looking at. So let me pull up Market Cipher B again. Let me get that back on here. What candles are we on? We're on the wrong candles here. But anyways, I digress. Now we're on the right candles. Let's get our Market Cipher B back up here. Take a look. Let's look at the hourly chart. Let's look at what we can kind of see for Ethereum in the short term here. Now we did get a green dot on the bottom. So if you go back and you look at Bitcoin, let me add Market Cipher B back here as well. I want to show you guys this comparison here. So on Bitcoin, on the hourly chart, we got this green dot right here, but it wasn't a massive green dot. It didn't go down below the negative 60 line here on the, away from the 0 line, okay? So it wasn't a huge signal. Now, it has worked out pretty well for us. It wasn't a huge signal. But if you look at Ethereum, we got a huge signal there. That is the green dot that we want to see. So I can definitely see on the hourly chart here, we could be seeing some fireworks for Ethereum before the end of the day. But you guys know Fridays are, fairly unpredictable. but it's looking pretty bullish. It looks like this whole run, has probably ended with this gigantic wick. Whenever you see a wick like this, a really big wick, you guys know that's pretty bullish, because that means that was a bounce point. That means that's a support line. That's where it bounced off of, and now it's equilibrium, and it's establishing an equilibrium of price. So in my opinion, I do think Ethereum has got some room to run today. We should easily get back above $1,800. Maybe a good trade for you guys. Of course, not financial advice. And then obviously right here, I wish the marker would circle across the whole thing instead of just one chart. You see what I'm saying? I wish that. But if you're looking here on the hourly chart, we do have the green line here on the RSI, which means oversold. It is oversold right now. The green line means oversold. When it's red, it means it's overbought. So I think I said that right. I always say it wrong, but I think I said it right. So there's a lot of good indicators here. And if you look at the money flow here on Market Cypher, you'll see the money flow looks like it's about to head back up into the green. So it could be an explosive day for Ethereum. So stay tuned for that.
Also, somebody said, you might want to test this sometime, that if you just double-click the chart, Market Cypher B will appear if you don't have it on. Like if it was off and you just double-clicked it, they said it would show up. So I don't know if that's true or not, but...
Oh.
There you go. Save you some time.
I always wondered how that happened. I'd go and all of a sudden one would be gone.
And also, we aren't ageist. We love all the older viewers.
We love old people.
Wait, and
y'all are so sweet and cute.
This is a good point. I heard somebody say it'd be fun if we started referring to age as like experience. So you're level 32, level 38, level whatever. So a lot of wisdom from those with more experience.
Oh, we said we were going to take out the old people.
Yeah, they didn't like that.
Guys, we're going to take you out to O'Charlie's.
There you go.
We're going to head out to Golden Corral.
Yeah,
okay?
Longhorn.
Hey, I can hang with y'all at Golden Corral. Y'all need to know that. Okay, I can hang with you. Look, I love all people, except the minors. So, I can't help myself, DJ. I'm sorry. I cannot help myself.
That's fine.
But I do love old people. And by old, what's funny is, what's really funny, and we'll move on to the next thing here, but like what is really funny is the word old, right? Like the word old is really funny if you think about it, because it's all relative to your age. Like, when you're young, you think, that 30's old. Like 30 is the first age that you're really like, God, he's 30. But then when you're a teenager, when you're like 18, 19, if there's somebody hanging out like at a club or something or near where you're at, if you're 21 and that person's like 27 or 28, that seems old, right? Like, you're too old to be in this place,
Yeah, I've got this whole kind of theory. When you think about it, your only concept of time is your entire life.
Yeah, of course.
So if you're 10 years old, 1 year is 1/10 of your life. It's so
I have
a
this
long
same
time.
theory. I've said the same thing. It's literally the exact same thing forever.
Yeah. And then so every year, the older you get,
it's a smaller percentage of time.
Right.
1 year is.
Yeah. And the only way we can relate to it is through our relative perceptions. So.
TJ, that's why you're the yin to my yang, dude. That's why you are the yin to my yang. But the funny thing is, what I was saying is, I mean, like, people insult me on TikTok sometimes. I don't get insulted a lot on TikTok, but they're like, this guy's so old. He doesn't know what he's talking about, And then you're always like, I'm not old. I'm only 38. Like, I'm not that old. There's plenty of people that are older than me.
Well, that's why my favorite thing on TikTok when it's talking about the old people and it's like those born in the early 2000s.
They're now old. Yeah, it is so funny. So, Addison Rae, she dressed up like somebody from the 50s, and someone was like, why is she dressed like someone from the 90s?
Yeah, I saw that. That's great.
Yeah. So, okay. So back to work here. So let's talk about Cardano.
And Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, Cardano and Dippin' Dots. And look, guys, look at what we got on the Cardano chart here. This is very interesting. This is the 1 hour chart for Cardano. It has been on quite the fall here recently. But you guys can see what is going on here. Whale manipulation. Looks like somebody's trying to push the price of Cardano down. Who is this? I don't know. Could it be Polkadot? I don't know. I know there's a lot of weird stuff going on behind the scenes there. We like Polkadot. We're going to talk about Polkadot later. I don't know. I'm just throwing accusations out there. Completely baseless. But the fact is, when we see these yellow lines, when you see the yellow X's on Market Cypher, they'll usually come right after a green dot, and that tells you get out, by the way. And we're going to be showing you guys how to set up alerts to assist with your trading life. So we're going to be showing you that this weekend. But you see it here too. You see a green dot, and then you see the yellow X. This negates the green dot. Okay, that means that basically Price is probably going to go down. People are trying to push it. What happens is they run out of gas pushing the price down. And the price dropped all the way down to as low as $1.02. And that's why when you guys were telling us that, or when people were telling me, like when Cardano was $1.30 and they're like, is it a good buy right now? And what did we say? We said, wait for a dip. Around $1 maybe it might go to. If it goes down to $1, it'd be a great place to get it. $1.10, great place to get it. $1.35, you're going to want to wait. What happens is you feel like the price is never going to dip down. And that's actually kind of funny because that's going to lead into our next thing. But right now, we have a key indicator here on Market Cipher for Cardano, which is we have now gone in to oversold territory, okay? So that means we could be looking at an epic bounce for it pretty soon. But are we looking for that today? Well, when you look at the money flow chart, the money flow here in the red, I don't see a lot of strong indication it's coming back up right now. So what we're going to want is we're going to want to see this money flow here get a little up closer to the zero line, and that could be a pretty good sign it's time to jump in. But, I think that a lot of people are very disappointed that Charles came out and said that, the liquidity event, it's been delayed a little bit. And a lot of people were probably waiting for whatever that was to get a big pump and then move over to something else. And then people are dumb. So they probably were just like, it's not coming now. I'm going to jump out. And so, that when there's less people in, it's even easier to push down. So I think that's what happened. If you sold Cardano because Charles said that the liquidity event is delayed a little bit into March now, that's not a good thing to jump out on. It's still going to come. It's not like all of a sudden now the price is going to jump down because it's going to be a little bit longer. But you should be looking at this as an opportunity. And I tell you what, when we really look at opportunity in the bear market, we were looking at all throughout the channel, throughout the history, when we were actually in the bear market, it's one thing to talk about it, but it really is another thing when you really start seeing these projects going to the moon, Cardano going to $1, wherever it's going to end up going, went all the way up to $1.50. You start seeing that stuff happen and you're like, man, how much opportunity did I miss out on? And a lot of people are in the position where, you're trying to change your life financially and you might not just be able to let your money sit there for years and years and years. And we understand that, but that's when you make the life-changing money. So when you get the gains, you need to be thinking about the next phase. So let's take a look at Polkadot here. Let's see if I can add, I want to add DOT. Can I add DOT here? Yeah. Let's go DOT to USD here. Let's click this. I want to add this here. Where do I add it? Here it is. Okay, DOT USD. We're going to add this here from Kraken. Okay. So we want to check DOT a pretty good bit. So looking at DOT, you guys can see it looked like it was going to get back above all-time highs. And then, of course, we got some blood diamonds. It's been falling drastically. But if you look here on, Market Cipher, looks like this could be a good entry point for DOT again. And we bought about 500K's worth of DOT. It was actually, I say 500K on my video tonight. It was actually like 480K that we put into DOT. And our goal is to get that up to over 7 figures here pretty shortly over the next month because we think DOT is the next big thing, guys. And I know I love Cardano. I love Ethereum. I love it three-way. Now it feels like I'm in a foursome with these other 3 projects. And it's getting a little weird is what I'll say. But you have to understand that each one of these projects, and this is why I believe so strongly in the smart contract space, each one of these 3 projects together, they basically solve every problem on the internet, right? And when you look at the difference between what Polkadot is doing and what Cardano and Ethereum have done already and are doing, so I would say Cardano hasn't done it yet, but there's a lot to like in terms of capacity for technology with Polkadot because of the multi-chain ecosystem. And who knows, it could be that this multi-chain ecosystem eats up all these other projects eventually. So something to think about. All I say is you definitely do not want to be left out of DOT. I would definitely not have 0 holdings in DOT by any stretch of the imagination. So we're going to be doing a video on this tonight. And then next week, we're invested in a lot of Polkadot projects. Next week, we're going to do a video. We're going to go over a lot of that stuff. But we are now about to go as hard on Polkadot as we went on Cardano and Ethereum because we do believe that there's a lot of stuff to like about this project and you're not going to want to get left out of, including DeFi. Look, the Polkadot DeFi is going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. All the limited capacity that Ethereum DeFi has hit, right? The ability to transact in a scalable way, the speed of the transactions, the gas fees. You don't have any of that with Polkadot, and it's reverse compatible for Ethereum. So it's like win-win-win. So definitely not one to be reckoned with. But in the short term, it does look like, it could be a good time to get into Polkadot here. Could get ready for another rally. We'll talk about that tonight. Okay, so let's go and talk about this. So every day at the end of the stream, we are going to be talking about Crypto 101. And this is one of the very, very, very most important things in the world of not just crypto, but in the world of investing to understand. Your emotions will get the best of you. And it's not just emotions like happiness and pain, right? Because I know plenty of people who I've talked to that are like, I did this and I got wrecked and now I'm out. I don't want to get back in. That's one, side of the psychology. The other side is what I just went through, where we absolutely crushed it. We did this back in January too. And you know what happens? You get a little overconfident. And I got overconfident yesterday, and it made me make some bad trades. And kind of showing you guys market cyber here, I want to explain kind of what I'm talking about, because this is a very important concept. Because whether you're leverage trading or you're just in the market swing trading, okay, you got to understand, read the data, read the information. And when you have the information and you're armed with that, you can make good decisions. But sometimes the data is sitting right in front of you and you still make a bad decision. And so I want to kind of go over my mindset on what happened yesterday and how I made this freaking absolutely terrible trade. And then I piled on harder afterwards, which is a pretty good strategy, except for the fact that there were still no signals I should have gone in, right? When you're making money and you're doing really good making money in cryptocurrency and trading, you tend to want to overtrade, right? You tend to want to jump in when you shouldn't. So what I was looking at yesterday here, okay, what I was looking at is about right here on this red X on the hourly chart. The price had dropped down to, the price had gotten here, okay, and the price was at 58,246. It dropped all the way down to 56.5. I thought about getting in then, but I said, nah, I'm not going to get in then. And then it pumped all the way back up to 57.4. I was like, I should have got in. And so what do you think happened? When it went back down to about 57,000, I said, I'm going to get in at 57,000. This is where I want to get in. I feel really good. 57,000 is going to hold, blah, 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 blah. Well, looking at market cipher here, there was really nothing. There was nothing here telling me I should have got in. There was nothing, literally nothing, other than the feeling that the price was dipping, right? And I thought to myself, if I just wait until the momentum wave on market cipher goes down, I'll be able to find a good position. But I started feeling the FOMO of what will happen when Bitcoin finally pops above all-time highs and it goes all the way up to 65,000 overnight, and I missed it. So I wanted to have a position. Well, I probably should have set a position lower than where I was, because there was nothing indicating that the dip was over. And when you get the biggest moves for Bitcoin is when you do get strong movement downwards, and then you get big bounces, and then that continues, okay? And let me know if you guys can relate to this, okay? Let me know if you can relate to this. You're looking at Bybit, okay? You're looking on your phone, or you're trading on your phone, just like this. You're looking at Bybit. You're looking at a position, okay? And you say to yourself, oh, it's at 57,300. I'm going to set it for 57,000. And then it hovers around 57.3 for like a minute. You're like, oh God, I don't want to miss out on this. I don't want to miss out on this, actually. Let me make sure I can go ahead and let me cancel that order. And I'm just going to put it at 57.3. And then you're like, oh, I'll set another order lower. And then it hovers and hovers and hovers. And you're like, I'm going to set another one here. And the emotions of watching those price fluctuations, those price movements, they can get you in a bad spot. And I'm not immune to that by any stretch of the imagination. But what happens is these are the lessons that you have to learn when you're trading and just get better. You're never going to do it perfect. To be a perfect trader, you would have to be a robot. And even then, even the bots, I'll tell you this, I've had much bigger gains with my own trading than I had ever with trying out bot trading. Bot trading is all arbitraging and trying to get little tiny gains here, little tiny gains here. I guess John Henry versus the machine, okay? But the point is that you have to be patient and you have to do the steps necessary to get the experience. You don't want to lose all your money before you get the experience. You need to understand you can do it, but you have to be patient. And yesterday, even I fell victim to being super impatient, not reading the data that was right in front of me on the chart. And I went in a bad position. I got absolutely wrecked. I lost like freaking $50,000. We made a good bit of it back. But you have to be patient and you can't let your emotions get the best of you. It's not just euphoria, it's overconfidence. And then there's also on the bottom side where you get underconfident. You've got no confidence in your trading. So every time you make a trade and it just barely dips down into the red, you jump out because you're scared, right? So you have to learn how to balance your emotions, patience, and the data and information in front of you. And that's how you become a winning trader. All of the best winning traders I know all keep their emotions in check, okay? Except maybe CryptoFace. He's out there yelling all the time. He's like me. He's like, oh, over the top, yelling, I made $1 million, blah, 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 blah. You guys know how he does on his videos. I love watching his live streams. That's a cheat, by the way. You guys want to know a cheat? Listen to what CryptoFace says when he's live streaming. Like, that's a pretty good cheat on how to make money trading, because sometimes I use that as a shortcut. If I'm looking at Market Cipher and I don't quite exactly understand what I'm looking at, like, are we bullish or are we bearish? And he comes on a live stream and says, short the market. I'm like, I'm getting out. I don't short in a bull market, but he might do that. I don't. Only long in a bull market. That's a good way for me that, I've been a winning trader. So and we might talk about that. Let's talk about that next week. The relationship between longing and about the trend being your friend, because there's some really valuable data there for you guys to listen to and some insights, I think, as well. So, guys, that's all we got today. I got a big interview with Michael Saylor. I'm going to be doing here in about an hour and a half. Very excited about it. Can't wait to show you guys that. We're going to split up into 2 parts on Saturday and Sunday. Make sure you come back and watch that Market Cipher tutorial tomorrow night. Drop your comments down below. I love you guys. That's all I got. Be blessed. Big boy out.